a gymnasium that housed 12 boys in it. We had 12 boys in this house, and then we had a girls' home in the Reedland area of Paducah. And the plan was to transition those girls from that Reedland house to this campus. Some of you have been to that newer home. We call it Emma Bell's Haven House. And that house never saw a kid until 3 or 4 years later, because the same year that the contracts were turned away, that house was completed. So we went from a children's home with no children to the point that we're at today, which has been a slower rebuild, but God has restored. God restored the ministry. He started sending to us what we figured out was going to be a ministry for younger kids. Some of those younger kids have turned into older kids now. 2 of those kids came to us at 7 and 8 years old, and last year they graduated high school. And they lived with us from the time that they were 8 to 18, and actually still live with us. I don't know if some of y'all know what that's like, but I've got, my oldest is 15 now, almost 16. I don't imagine that she's going to leave anytime soon. I hope not. But our kids at New Pathways are the same. And I'll show you a home where they're living now. But we started getting phone calls, one family, and then another, and then word spreads of what you're doing. And the next thing you know, you've got 30 more kids. And so the home behind here is our newest home that opened up in August 2 years ago now. It's the Burst family home, named for Mr. Ricky and his family. His dad was the executive director before then. Mr. Ricky's dad, Glenn Burst, pulled New Pathways out of a very dark financial time many years before that he came in, and have been a blessing to us. So we've got 31 kids today, and on June 6th, we'll have 35 kids that we're taking care of, which is both a blessing and a responsibility, right? So we are, if you're not familiar with New Pathways, we are in between Paducah and Mayfield. We're in the big metropolis area of Melbourne, Kentucky, right beside Hickory. Some of you know where we're at. We're in the boonies a little bit. We've got farms that were given to us to build on. It's a beautiful campus, but we've got 35 children that we're going to be taking care of across 4 different facilities. So we've got 3 group homes, 1 residential home that we operate under our foster care license, that we put some of our youngest kids in, and then we've actually got some kids placed in homes privately. So we've got 3 kids, about to be 4 kids placed, no, 2 kids, about to be 3 kids placed in somebody's home. And some of you guys have seen one of those guys. He's been at Carol's house several times with the Lovells. So a couple things on this. 24/7, 365. We don't close. I don't know if you've ever tried to hire somebody and say, hey, how would you like to never be guaranteed a day off? It's not always fun, but we don't close. Even though we have kids on home visits right now because school has ended and they're back and forth a little bit, we still have residents on campus, and we are open 24/7, 365. Never close. 35 kids. David put this COA, and I like to mention this because even though we don't have state contracts, y'all know that the state can't stay out of what you're doing. So we have a license by the state. We have 2 licenses. We operate a group home license, and then we operate a placement license, which we can do for foster care, adoptions, those kinds of things. So every year we have 4 state inspections. They come out and inspect a home every year. And then they also inspect our foster care license every year. So the state still stays around. We're on a first name basis with them. But then the COA is a little extra special to me. Every 4 years, the state of Kentucky, because their 4 inspections aren't enough, require an outside agency to come in and inspect our agency. So the Council on Accreditation offers an accreditation for us. They come in and spend 3 days on campus. They spend the night in Paducah, come in, they talk to staff, they interview kids, they call parents of the kids. They look at every piece of paperwork you have, every policy you have, every incident report you have. They look in every closet. They go to the pump house where the well is, and they go, okay, there's no kids in here. And so at the end of 3 days, a lady, I was proud. She does my job at other places. She comes in, she goes, I measure a place by what I used to measure it by what I send my kids here. And now I measure it what I send my grandkids here. And she said, I think my grandkids would love it here. And so we ended a 3-day inspection with 0 deficiencies, which is both a credit to the people that we have working there. Our treatment director is phenomenal with the paperwork. And it's, most of our parents have never even seen where their kids are. And so when you come to New Pathways and you go, man, this place is really nice, it's because that's what's always been wanted for these kids. A place that's really nice, really well taken care of. So this is Haven House. This is the house where our girls are. They are, this has 10 bedrooms. So these girls range from the youngest now, I think is going into 4th grade, up to she's going to be a junior in high school. I've got 3 girls that age in my house. I do not want another 7. Okay, so 10 girls taken care of in Haven House. To have no more problems than we do is phenomenal based on how many kids are together at the same time. The Gardner House is the boys' house. This is our main campus. You can see, we don't have a picture of it, but you can see the gym in the background. I've got pictures of some of your kids that are no longer kids, and Jennifer Sink playing hockey in that gym. It's a great facility to have. We do an after-school program in that facility. Kaylee Wadlington has an office in that building. And so then you notice that we have a dog house on the front porch because we could not turn away a coonhound when he showed up. His name is Smokey. I hope that you get to meet Smokey one day. I hope you'll come to campus just for him. If you come to our campus picnic, I may have to put him up because he will steal every burger. And when I say every burger, I don't mean like 1 or 2 of y'all's until he gets full, like every burger. He's a great dog. The Burse House is our newest house. It's only been open for a couple years. It's a beautiful facility. We take care of 8 younger kids in this home. So these kids are all 3rd grade and below. It is a co-ed house with boys on one wing and girls on the other. If you ever want to feel good about yourself, go to this house because these kids will treat you like a rock star, and they don't even know you. They are very loving. And then we have the Williams House. Williams House is a ranch-style home. It's a traditional residential house. When Haven House and Gardner Home were full, we had a wait list of kids. And right in between those 2 campuses, this house came up for sale about 7 or 8 years ago. And so we were able to buy it, renovate it a little bit. And this is a house that now we typically put our youngest residents in. We've gotten calls for babies. We've had a mama reach out to us. We had her other kids in our program. She got pregnant. And when she was like 5 or 6 months pregnant, they were already talking to us about when this baby will come to New Pathways. So we've had kids as young as 3 months old in this house. So this is the home. Many of you know Kaylee Wadlington. Kaylee, we had some turnover. We had a house parent couple that lived in this house for about 6 years. And when they were moving on back in March, Kaylee said, I'll move in until summer. And she bought me till summer. And y'all know how awesome Kaylee is, right? I don't have to like tell y'all that. Don't tell her that, Tim. I would appreciate it. I don't need that. Monday morning, she's going to be, I heard what you said. But she moved in and took care of some of our youngest residents for the last 3 months. Y'all know it's easy to fall in love with these kids. They're pretty special. And then on Tuesday of this past week, we actually were able to move in the new house parents. And I hope we have a long time with them as well. That worked out the way that prayers are supposed to work out. God took care of us. There's other agencies. When I asked them how long it took them to find house parents to do what they're doing in this house, they've still been looking for 4 years. And so I feel very blessed that we went 2 months. That's not too bad. So Williams House. And then I need a new picture because we actually did some underpinning and stuff on these homes. When the tornadoes hit Mayfield, there was a nonprofit that built a lot of tiny homes and made tiny home communities. And they moved tornado victims into those tiny homes. Now that those folks have moved into more permanent housing, they had a bunch of tiny homes empty. And so they called us and they said, hey, we've got a bunch of tiny homes. Do you want any? And we said, absolutely, because we had 2 kids fixing to graduate high school, and we were having conversations of, okay, where do we rent an apartment? Where do we take care of these kids at for the long haul? And so we were able to move 6 of these tiny homes. These 2 here are occupied. They're actually occupied by 2 kids that some of y'all that have gone to Big Reedy know. So Josie and Ahmed live in these tiny homes. Josie's there. Ahmed just finished his first semester at Freed-Hardeman, thanks to a scholarship that the Gardner family has there for New Pathways kids. So he went to school debt-free because of that. He'll be living and working in this house this summer, working other places, living in this house. He better be. So we're blessed to have these 2. They're 2 bedrooms. They're really nice. So we've committed to taking care of our kids because they're our kids. If we had state contracts when you turned 18 and graduated high school and there was no longer a dollar amount tied to you, we would have to say, you got to go. I don't know where you go. They'd have to figure it out, right? We'd have some type of plan. But thankfully, because of support from folks like you guys, we're able to continue taking care of Ahmed and Josie. We've got 2 more years before the next bunch graduates, so we got a little time. I want to show you some pictures of some things that kind of show you what we do to take care of the social, emotional, well-being, the physical, all those kinds of things. If you look at what we do, a well-rounded life is difficult even for 1 or 2 kids to provide. None of y'all have had kids and you go, you know what, I'm going to focus on one part of your life and that's it. You want your kids to be active in a sport. You want your kids to be active at church. You want your kids to get good grades. You want your kids to grow in a lot of different ways. And so we strive to do that as well. We try to teach life skills so that when Ahmed goes to college, he knows how to set an alarm and wake up. Things I may not have known when I went to college at Freed. Our kids are part of their school band. They're part of theater. They play all the sports. Benny, one of our older residents, high school residents, placed 20th in the state for shot put in track for Class 1A, which is pretty impressive for a sophomore. There was like 3 sophomores in that top 25 that made the state roster. We've had kids playing basketball, soccer, baseball, doing cheer. We play a lot of upward sports, so our younger kids are there. We stay busy and hopping constantly because the goal is not to just get kids to survive, right? You want your kids to thrive and you want them to do well. You can see Smokey a little bit in his doghouse. I'll be honest, that's the only time I've seen him in that doghouse is in this picture. Because usually when the door opens, he runs in and he hops on one of the chairs. And then you have to get a leash to drag him off of it. Y'all ever had a coonhound? My parents have one. They are stubborn. He is worse than any of the kids. We do all the things that you do in your house times 35. Our kids are also, let's see, where's the picture at? I know I saw a picture of, no, maybe not. I don't know where the picture of Lainey went. Anyways, our kids are involved at church. They attend Lone Oak Church of Christ as their home church. They go on a youth group trip. They go, some of our older kids are going on a mission trip this summer to Arizona. They've gone to New Mexico. They've gone to Indian reservations. They'll go to camp. They've gone to Big Reedy in the past with you guys. I think we've had some go to Taylor maybe. They go to Western Kentucky. Jasir, speaking there with Mr. Ricky, will memorize scripture like crazy. He's 9, and he's so good with it. Our kids are active at church, and I want to say this, like, I've been a youth minister. Y'all know that. Getting kids to church is half the battle and like half the goal. Growing spiritually is the struggle, right? As parents, y'all know that. It's tough to you can get them there, lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink kind of thing. How important is it for these kids to grow spiritually? So I recognize that just getting them to these things and being a participant is only about part of what's really important there. It's important, but it's only about half, right? Y'all are going to meet a new youth minister candidate here in a few weeks, and his job is going to be one that is, he's probably going to feel like he's drinking out of a fire hose for a little while, but like getting kids somewhere is half the battle. But helping them grow, like real growth, that's hard. And I was thinking, how do you do that? Well, you put people around them that are growing spiritually as well. You have spiritual conversations. You have people that are good examples of what Christ looks like in their life. We would do our kids at New Pathways, and you'll do your kids here a disservice if the only thing you do is you get them to church and you put them around one guy. Because it needs to be as many people as possible supporting your kids. There's some studies done by the Barna Group in different places, and I'm going into Medlin instead of teaching now, but some studies done about what it takes to get a kid to grow spiritually. And the reality is they need 2 or 3 adults besides you as their parent to take a spiritual interest in their life. So find those people. That's our goal for sending our kids to camp, to churches. We have church groups come out and do devotionals. And the best part of that is not the free pizza that we get. The best part of that is Tyler Wunderlich in Mayfield is a guy that I want around our kids. The people that show up that run their soccer programs, the rec league soccer, come to those devos, and then he takes an interest in our kids who have a soccer interest. It's all about getting as many people around our kids that are spiritually minded as possible. You can't put an amount on that. So there's a few things, and I'll probably end a few minutes early, but got a couple things that tell y'all how you can get involved. One is we need prayers. We have things that are going on all the time, and we covet your prayers. And they work. Our kids are well taken care of, but our kids have life that is not always easy. They're coming out of situations that are not always easy, and they need your prayers. Not just from hey, we need funds, but man, we're dealing with life, just like you're dealing with life, and they need your prayers for that. Because I'm not the fundraiser for New Pathways, I like this one. Bring a group. Some of you ladies have been to campus with Kara, helped set that up. Kara Lovell was on our board for a while. They do like a 6 years on, and then they have to like come take a year off, and so she's been on her year off, and she's still at everything, just like y'all would expect her to be. Y'all know her mama, right? So always working, always helping us. But bring a group. If you ever want to come and see campus, just reach out. I'd love to show you what we do. It's a lot easier to see it and understand it than it is to hear about it from here. Get a group of folks together and come help us with a project. Our main campus has about 25 acres that we take care of. We got a giant pond. I have an unlimited supply of sticks to pick up. I have leaves for years that just never end. We have different things in different states of needing repair all the time. Come spend time with our kids. Plan something to do with them. I'd love to help you do that. But the more folks, we're only like maybe an hour and a half over there. It's not too bad from here. So other ways that you can help us, monthly partners, we financially giving, a gift to the Christian Education Fund. I saw it in the bulletin, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but the elders have committed to give into that, which is why I'm here. Taking on 2 of our kids. They go to Community Christian Academy, so they're in a private school. For our kids, it's a lot like Heritage, to kind of be familiar with it. It's our kids, most of our kids, when they come to us, if you look at their school records, they've missed 30 or more days in the last year of school, and their tardies have been unreal because they just ain't got there. And so smart kids, but they've never been able to get any attention. If your kids were never read to when they were little or helped with their homework when they were in those early grades, it's a struggle. And so we like our kids being in the Christian environment at that school, but they have small class sizes and they have teachers that are easy to get a hold of, and they get some attention that they really need to thrive. We've got Benny, who has finished out 2 years of high school now with straight A's and doing incredibly well. And so we're thankful for that, and we're thankful for you guys for making that commitment to us. The part I don't know much about, Scott Cowan could probably answer more of these questions than I can. On the next slide, David Simmons is going to be there, but his information. If you wanted to be a part of some planned giving with your estate, some of your stocks and insurance, and I know some retirement plans have some rules around them about giving and things like that could be beneficial. Just ask those questions. The other thing is we still have a few teams available for a golf scramble in a few weeks, and I know that Southside loves their golf. So I have no doubt that there's a team here that could win it. No doubts. One, because I've gone to this golf scramble the last several years, and there's usually only one or two good teams. So the rest of them play like I do, which is not very good. Um, so it's coming up in just a few weeks. And I've actually got some of those flyers down here on the front. So if you wanted to pick up one of those, June 5th, come out on a Friday and play around the golf with us. Be great. $400 for a team of 4 golfers, and we feed you lunch. So, or sponsor, be a team and a sponsor. So I've got those down here. The other thing that we'll have, and we'll send out information, is the last Saturday in July, we have our campus picnic. Our campus picnic's a lot of fun. Some of y'all have been. You come out, there is no sales, okay? I don't even know that there's a donation bucket. It's a thank you to people that have sponsored us. We want to show you our campus. We have weather dependent. We have horse rides, bounce houses in the gym, free food, all those kinds of things take place. And so we'll do that the last Saturday in July. Once we get through the golf scramble, we'll start sending out that information. I would love to see you guys there. Come out and join us. Take a look around. We'll show you around the 2 campuses that we have, and you get a chance to meet some of the kids then too. I've also got a few newsletters that is it okay if I just leave those down front? And then if you would like to give, sign up for monthly giving, there's I assume the QR code will take you there. So if it doesn't, let me know. I've got 4 or 5 minutes, and the scariest thing ever to do is open it up to questions. But do y'all have questions? I know somebody's been thinking. Okay, so our kids are all privately placed. That means the parents keep custody and we take guardianship. And so the sad reality for us, because the state's not involved, is that at any point the parents can say, I want my kid. And that's that. Now, if there is abuse or neglect or something like that that we suspect is going on at home, we will report it. But you know, so we have parents that sign their guardianship over to us. What ended up happening, and this is a unique part to me, is when we started asking and putting it out to the community, hey, we want to take care of kids, no cost, right? We're going to take care of your kids in a Christian atmosphere. We got several families locally that place their kids with us. We started out, we tried some single parent programs like what Potters does. Our facilities weren't set up for that. You know, Potters has some apartments that they use for theirs, which are great. But when you have to share a living space with several families, that's not good. Parents leaving kids to go out and do stuff. But so we started with local kids, and then we had a Liberian family. Liberia is a West African country. They came to the U.S. in the 90s as refugees. And so we had a Liberian family that needed some help from the Louisville area. And they sent 4 or 5 kids at that time to be with us. And then from there, word of mouth spread. And so we are almost all of our kids are Liberian culturally. Not all, but most. We don't advertise. Like you'll never see hey, we need kids. We have a wait list. So I am technically going to be full when these 4 new kids come next week or in 2 weeks. But I've got about 10 more kids whose parents are trying to get their kids into our program. So that's how they come. They find out about us. There's a lot of family connections, a lot of, you know, community connections that they find out about us and give us a call, and we start the intake process. But we're all completely private.
Scott, what's your criteria?
Criteria. So we don't really have a large list of criteria, but behaviorally is usually the one that kicks kids in or out. We're not set up to take kids with major behavior issues. Um, so we look at school records. Um, Typically, if a kid isn't like fighting every day, we'll try them, But big behaviors, we're not equipped to handle kids with like handicaps. Um, so that's some of our criteria. Um, Most of our kids are coming out of like single moms. They're trying to work. They're needing support. They have no support system around them. But our criteria is pretty loose. We take a look at every kid that we can, and just see if they kind of fit the program. Um, Obviously for us, behavior is the big one. Because if they're violent, I can't put them in a house with the other kids. We just don't have I don't have the staffing to do that. But also, you got 10 boys in a house. That's a lot of boys if one or two of them are wanting to fight. So that's kind of our biggest kicker. Did that answer your question at all? Okay. We do. We take a look at every kid. If you're willing to make a phone call, then that kid needs us, we feel. So we want to give them, every kid that we can, a chance. And we took a chance. So each of our houses has a van and then a 15-passenger bus. And then, so like we take them to school, we take them to practices. So we've got 4 vans and 3 buses. It's a lot. If anybody has one that they want to give us, it's really nice. I've got some folks that wouldn't complain. So yeah, I've got a guy that does a lot of oil changes. so yeah, we take them on vans and buses. They're church buses, you know. You try to mark out as much of the First Baptist Church on the side as you can, but they're still a church bus. So our parents, a lot of times what we do is we have about a 2-week block, 3-week block after school ends that kids will go on home visits. A lot of our kids come from all over the country. So a lot of our kids their parents are in like North Dakota, Minnesota, Florida, Iowa, different places like that. And so they'll do a few weeks of visitation and then the kids are back in our program. For our local kids, we just work out visitation, more one-on-one with them. We don't have parents on campus. So we're not set up to let parents, we try to keep a closed campus as much as possible. So parents, we will go meet them somewhere with their kids, but we don't let them like in the house with the kids. Does that make sense? Because we try to vet people that are going to be spending time around our kids. But there is some visitation, and they do frequent phone calls. That's kind of at the parents. If the parents want to do like FaceTimes weekly, a couple times a week, they can. So there is communication back and forth. That's the sad part sometimes, is it's on the parents to make that, we're not knocking on their door begging them to do stuff, and it just doesn't always happen. And that's another reason that we don't want parents on campus, because some of the kids' parents won't come. So, anything else? I'm out of time. Hey, thank you guys so much for letting me be here. Southside meant a lot to our family. This was my first ministry job, so a lot of growing took place here. Y'all were really good to us as a family, and I very much appreciate that. Love so many of you guys, have great memories of you. This was a place that will always be special to us as a family. So we are grateful that we meet again and paths have crossed, and not just for financially giving to New Pathways, but that we're able to partner together again, and hope to see more of you guys in the future. So, all right. Do I need to do anything to close out, or just everybody gets up?